All right, we're back with the Jeep here. We're about to lift the tub off of the frame. We've now got the top, the roll bar out, had to cut all of those bolts. They were just kind of nasty, didn't want to come apart. So we got that apart, cut all that up. Like I've said, we believe we have all the wiring disconnected from the frame to the tub. Hopefully all the wiring that is left with it will either go up the tub, and got the master cylinder disconnected, the radiator's out, and yeah, so I ended up having to cut all of the body bolts because they were just so seized up. So we did that, and I believe that's everything. At this point I can lift the tub up, but I don't want to use our bodies. Gotta lift for a reason. So we're gonna lift it up with the lift, and I'll time lapse that, y'all can see that, and then I will come back and talk to y'all once I get the tub off and I can show you what the frame's looking like. We are going to be cleaning the frame up and tearing the drivetrain out, obviously, and the transmission needs to be rebuilt. We're going to rebuild the transfer case in-house, but the transmission will be out of house, and the engine we will install. Like I've said, it's from Blueprint. You've seen in the first video from the channel, it showed the Blueprint engine. So we're going to dive into this. We're going to get this going, get this tub off, and see what we're working with under it. It's pretty flaky. The paint that's on the chassis is pretty flaky and everything, so we're gonna get that cleaned up, make it look right, and it's gonna look great. So pretty excited to get it tore apart here. So we're back with the CJ7 frame here. We got the tub off. It's on the wooden workbench making its way to body. All right, so the next step will probably be pulling the drivetrain off of this setup. We're getting rid of this engine. We are using this transmission and transfer case. Like I said, transmission needs rebuilt, and so does the transfer case. The axles, we will be doing axle shafts, not the pumpkin or anything like that. So the ring and pinion and like that, unless it is damaged, unless it shows a boatload of backlash or anything like that, then we'll redo it. Other than that though, we're just going to leave that alone, and we're going to clean this frame up. We have a Hotsie we're fixing right now, so we're going to get the Hotsie fixed. We're going to clean the frame off, and then it'll go into paint, and then the new drivetrain will be installed, and it'll look really slick and good on here. So let me get you in here and show you this frame up close about how nasty it is, how dirty and grimy it is. But you can see where I had to literally cut all of the body mounts. But it's gonna get cleaned up. It's gonna look good once it's clean, just back to black. And I'm assuming they've added this piece of metal on, is what we have come to the conclusion of, that maybe they misdrilled on the fiberglass tub. So, but yeah, so let's get this drivetrain out. we have the engine, transmission, and transfer case out of the frame. Engine's off to the side. Transmission is actually already at the transmission shop, and the transfer case is on the workbench, awaiting a rebuild. And it's going to get bearings and chain and all that. So, and we also found, and we're going to really check it. I have a machinist, like a traveling machinist gauge from Harbor Freight, that'll allow me to check the, I believe it's called backlash on the rear end. But it seems with using the pinion, like the pinion gear, with turning it out here and the frame not moving, it seems like there's a boatload of backlash, which is no bueno. So we'll get that fixed up. Probably going to end up having to put a ring and pinion gear in the back. I haven't really even felt the front. I'll do it in a little while, but yeah. So we will use the hot seat, clean the frame up. Then once it's all clean, I want to get all these old brake lines off and out of my way, and we'll go from there. Then get it in paint eventually, black, and do all the nice knick-knack stuff. Put it on jack stands. Get these wheels out of my way. So, yeah. And it's also getting new tires. I don't know if I said that. So, it's going to get still going to have an all-terrain, but we're looking for a quieter tire. Like, these are quite loud. Customer doesn't really like how loud these are. They hum a lot. So, he wants something that ain't singing the whole time. And so, yeah. So, we're going to clean it now. All right, so we got the chassis outside. Let me show you just how dirty this chassis really is with the road grime and oil saturation and everything that's on it. So I'm going to show you around this frame, give you a little bit of a before, then we'll do a little bit of a time lapse maybe of cleaning it probably. So I'm going to soak it in degreaser first, soak it again in degreaser, and then I will be spraying it with the Hotsy. So let me show you what it's looking like here. So as you can see, it's just got dust on it up here, but the axle is soaked in oil. I don't know how good that's showing up on camera, but just a little bit of a before. You can see the road grime it's just got dust and road grime and everything on it. And then these are, I think I've talked about this already, but you know, that's I guess an extension they've made to make the fiberglass tub work. They had to move body mounts or something. But let's get this thing cleaned up. This is one dirty frame right here. So I'm excited to see what the hot seat does to it. Okay, so start off. So the frame was covered in a very tough paint. It's almost like rubber. It's probably a rubberized undercoating of some kind. As you can see, I ended up putting it on jack stands to work on it so I wouldn't mess the wheels up, because I ended up using paint stripper, and the aerosol paint stripper seemed to work better. And it got majority of the black off, took some of the primer off. The primer is insanely stout. But nonetheless, we're going to get the wheels back on it. We're going to get it back inside, and we'll go from there. But it really turned out to be a lot stronger paint than I think any of us were thinking. And so it's still going to be slick. It's going to be nice. That's why I'm taking my time on this. I'm not taking my time, but I'm making sure it's done properly and it's cleaned, and it's going to look good when it's done. But we'll get it inside and get it clean. But and then we'll go. I have a list, and I'll go over that with you. The list, it's telling me, or it's telling you exactly what I'm about to be doing. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna get these wheels on. We're gonna get it pushed back inside and Peterbilt. And yeah. But like I said, the aerosol worked better, I thought, better than just the brush on. So looking pretty good. Yeah, it's a mess right now, but once it's cleaned, it's gonna look slick. It needs to look really nice because it's getting a lot of nice parts put on it. So in my mind, it needs to be perfect. So I don't know how you guys are about it, but that's how I feel about it. Hopefully you guys are liking the videos on the Jeep so far. We're gonna keep more coming. So we now have the frame inside. We have a list here that's gonna tell us what we need to do step by step. First, we're gonna remove all the parts such as steering gear, shocks, gas tank, anything that doesn't need to be on here, brake lines, the fuel line, everything like that is gonna be coming off. After that, we'll wire brush what is left on the frame. After all the parts are removed, we'll wire brush what's left of the paint, anything like that. After that, we'll be ensuring smoothness of the chassis. By doing this, we are taking that extra step of quality, and we are really making sure that it's going to look good and that the paint is going to lay smooth, and you're going to want to look under this Jeep. After that, we'll be taping anything off that doesn't need to be getting painted, such as a spindle, anything like that. It's going to get taped off, ensure that no paint gets on it and messes with it. After that, it will get paint, 2 to 3 coats of black. 2 to 3 coats is ensuring thickness and strength, and we'll obviously let that cure, and it's going to look slick after that. And then after that, we'll be moving into probably axle work. From axle work, we'll move into drivetrain. Other than that, though, it's probably the end of this video. The next video will obviously be this process right here, brake lines, everything like that. And I would like the next video for it to be painted. So make sure to watch that video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.